Hi, my name is Olayinka. I'm an event planner. I do branding and brand developer. What else? I'm jack of all trades.
Okay. Hi, I am Emily Fande. I am an entrepreneur, and that covers everything that I'm into. And
Yes.
we're
Years
years
apart.
apart.
Major event during our life, our time influenced cultural attitude. How do you think current events are shaping cultural landscape for your generation?
Personally, I feel like events have been a way for the younger generation to speak up with their creativity because there's so much creativity going on, so much um, zest, so much energy, and young people have found the platforms to channel that through.
I'm really concerned
You're
about
a
the
young
word.
person too, Yinka, by the
Yeah,
way. Okay.
yeah. You said speaker. What do you mean speaker? I've they mean like voiceless. Uh, don't we have events that has been happening in Paris that people have room to really showcase that? Because what do you think event right now is really doing? Is it really sh- pushing young people to do what they love doing, or how is it affecting our culture? Or what is it really doing to us? Events generally.
To some extent, it has helped young people push through because yes, the platforms were there, but then young people felt like they needed to reach a certain age or have certain amount to pull some things through. For example, if you see some young people doing events now, you would ask twice, "Now that person did it, wow," because that was not the norm. The norm was people in the well, the millennials or older generations.
Yeah.
They were the ones believed to have monies to pull all these things together.
So
Young people.
me really thinking out loud.
Mhm.
Do you think all of this you're saying? Because for me, I've been part of a couple of events.
Oh, you have been.
So I don't think shaping our culture or bringing lots of order, giving room to people to showcase their event is a thing. I think a lot of people are missing it. Don't you think young guys just want to make money and forget about the culture?
It depends on what they're in it for.
So I'm just asking, do you think is because people say, yeah, I'm shaping my culture, I'm changing things and blah blah blah.
Mm.
But yo,
Even
everybody's
if
chasing.
they're in it for the money, they're changing narratives regardless whether they know it or not, because you're setting precedents for somebody else to follow. And it's a yeah, precedents like others have set it before us. So before now, it was more about being disciplined and learning how to plan and how to coordinate a whole
Oh,
event.
I have my reservations though, but I'm not
Oh
gonna
no,
I'm not gonna call
there's
names.
always
I'm
the
not.
good side and the
Yo,
bad side to things. There's a lot that comes with events. If we're to dissect that, there's a lot that comes with it. There's finding a niche. There's getting a team that you work with. There's marketing. There's a lot of things that come with it that together help to shape the narrative or change certain things. Social media role during events has changed. How did traditional media cover significant events, and do you think social media has improved or complicated the way we engage with these moments?
so yeah, for me, I think one thing that I would say about that is that social media has really given us room to improve ourselves, whether you're good at what you do or not. So far, you can show something significant and people like definitely people buy ticket to go to your event. People want to be with you. People want to snap picture with you. So I think social media has given us room to actually showcase whether bad or good. And in terms of marketing, in terms of biz event and all that, whether bad or good is always good.
But do you think that we're maximizing, we're actually taking advantage of social media like we're supposed to, because there's so much to be done, and I don't
Because
feel
that's
like
a
we're
big
doing that
question. Do you think in Sierra Leone or in Africa?
in Sierra Leone, to be specific, because this is
So
our
yeah, in Sierra, I
market.
don't think we have been able to even tap into like 10% of what social media can give to us. So yeah, for social media, like I say all the time,
Mhm.
bad marketing is actually one of the most key open doors to the right marketing.
Bad marketing.
Yeah, because with social media, there's never a bad PR,
Yeah.
and then whenever you have a bad PR, it gives you more numbers than
Depends on how you turn things
wherever it
around.
is. For my own context, as long as I've been there, I've worked with MTV Base, I've worked in Nickelodeon, I've worked with big event people. And my point is that Bad marketing has a way of placing you to actually get the right audience you want.
Mm.
So yeah, if you go out and make music, everybody talk about you. Even if you do the right thing, people don't get to see you. But until when you do the bad thing, people are like, who's that guy? What has he done this time
But
around?
I feel like there's so much work being put into certain things, and if you do bad PR, there's a lot at
Now, so let
stake.
me tell you, every advertisement that goes out actually is a lie.
so
So don't tell me. So
so there's
what?
false advertising.
Yeah, that's what everybody does. Everything we do actually is scripted and is being pioneered to go to a certain people and a particular reaction to get a particular answer, to get a particular mood, and to get a particular vibe. So trust me, I won't even focus on trying to impress somebody. I rather do the negative.
So, quick question before we jump on to the next one. Do you think social media has played a very crucial role in promoting events or making events as popular as they are today?
So I'll take it back in Nigeria. When we were in Nigeria, before Nigeria started gaining respect in music, we've always been doing a lot. There was Two Face, there was Abu Karim, there was all of the guys have been doing so well. Then Star Trek came.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares about what Star Trek is. There were a lot of events. Nobody cares about what was put in. But Star Trek said, okay, you know what we want to do? Let's bring the Mary J. Blige. Let's bring the 50th. 15 said, thought, yeah, is a better rapper than Abdul Karim. Every obviously is an American. Abdul Karim is just some
A
Nigerian guy.
local,
But the guy
national.
was like, yo, if you can rap, I can rap. Fuck that shit. Sorry, don't mind my language. But then the event jailed him to be able to believe himself that, okay, they're bringing all of those guys have paid heavily. I can challenge them. And that was what gave Nigeria the open door.
Mm.
After that incident, the next gig was that African Cook was used on Fat Girls. From Fat Girls, there was another event. So if there was not an event that brought in all of these big guys, these guys wouldn't know that, okay, there's some local, I won't say local, there's some trenches Nigerian guy that knows how to do
There's
his own
talents that
thing,
just need
that
platform.
needed to challenge 50 Cent as big as 50 Cent was, that could beat up Abdul Karim. Yeah, not me saying this, but anyway. But there was a platform, there was
Mm.
an event, there was a gathering. Let's discuss the perspective around significant event today.
Hmm. Social media and public opinion. Um, for me, I feel like the best way to get attention is via social media. There was a possible sponsor,
So
a
yeah, so
potential
yeah,
sponsor.
yeah, you're telling me that my point is
It is
it makes
valid.
sense, Abby.
No,
Oh
I'm not
God, tell
I'm
me
not
the sense.
arguing.
Tell me, say your point makes sense. That's
You
all.
got your points make sense. Massively fine on
God
it.
bless you.
So there was this potential sponsor that wanted to come on board for our last event, and they were like, "Oh, how do you advertise?" I'm like, "We've hardly done traditional marketing, and on with even that, it was just one platform, one TV station, and the rest has been on social media. That's what we've been leveraging." And it was like, "Oh well, I think we should do traditional, we should get this, we should get this, and all of that." And I was like, but all of these traditional platforms are trying to go digital, and they're trying to, leverage on all the social media platforms. Everyone in that room was holding their phone, talking and looking at something else, which means your client, your potential customer, is online. So social media has greatly, vastly, significantly shaped a lot of things that have been happening. And I believe that the success of a lot of events so far have been because of social media and the accessibility to people and information.
For me, I totally understand what you're trying to say. Omo, if social media would do, it
Ah,
just be like people would
Jesus,
wear
how?
put cloth on top of their heads. Okay,
All
I am
megaphone.
this. You're trying to tell somebody, say, this is who I am, and you're covering your face. So that's what our event with our social media is. Social
Just
media is,
imagine.
I believe, has done everything for us. So there's a lot of perception to social media thing and all that. But do you think every event to be showcased on social media?
Again, it boils down to what the niche of the event is. What are they doing? You have some events that
Is
are,
a yes
they're
or no? Do
private.
you think
It depends. There's not always a yes or no answer. There's some grays in between certain
Come
things.
on,
So
this
it
you're
depends
just
on the
trying to mess with me
niche.
now. Is it a
No, it
yes or
depends.
no?
It depends on the
Would
niche.
you
Being that
showcase your event on social media or not?
if you're asking me as a person, yes, because of the type of events
So
that I
what happens
do.
to that guy that doesn't probably have all the thing he needs to showcase his event, and he's okay, yeah, my event needs to go on social media.
Well, you
And
have
it doesn't have
events
a
like
good
those.
camera, it doesn't have a good sponsor, it
Oh
doesn't have a
no, for
good
some
lighting.
events, it's not about them getting the good camera or this or that, but they're private.
So
They don't
me, I
like
won't call
advertising their
name. I need
events.
call name. I need call name. I was passing by the beach one time and they were having an event. And I realized that the stage was so big. And guess what? There was just only one key light on the event. And there was a big brand logo, which I'm not going to mention. It's not my problem, so I don't give anybody problem. I was asking myself, the owner of the event, were they in did they thought about, because me, for every event, I feel social media is a platform. So before you get to a platform, there needs to be like a little check. Is this good enough? What do we want? What are we trying to attract to? What does our event want? What are we trying to appeal to? What kind of money do we want to make and all that? So for me, I think major event has caused like a major change to Africa. We're not being listened to. Then it was all Ep4, was all MTV, all the big award in probably somewhere in Europe and all that. Then when we started having events like Hip Hop Award, couple of other events that showcases that Africa has the thing, then everybody started listening to us. And from then, over 10 to 15 years, nobody has showed up to actually take up or say, okay, Africa doesn't have anything.
Mm, yeah.
So for me, I think all the events so far has helped to showcase the dynamic that we have as an African country. You understand? All over what we've done so far. Imagine then, some time ago, I met with Whiskey, and that was the time we just joined Banky W's record label. And I saw his zeal. I was like, okay, this young man, nobody knows. I don't even know it was Whiskey. I knew him to be Balogun then. You
Mm.
understand? It was my friend that introduced me. It was in Lasso, University of Lagos or something then. And I saw his zeal. I was like, okay, yeah, what can really showcase this guy's ability? There was an event, from that event to another event, from that event to another event. Then, right now, come on, who can compete with Whiskey?
You're right, because all of these platforms, it's like everyone's playing their part. Because regardless, you would have to give, Kabaka his flowers, because he created a platform for a lot of artists to showcase. There are other events as well. There's been Madeng, when they bring artists. There are a couple of recent events as well when they bring international acts and you get the
So
attention, and then you
let's
have local acts
let's
also
dive in a little
perform.
bit about all of this thing. You
Mm.
understand? So I don't like to mention this, but do you think events in Sierra Leone has really helped to showcase all of these people, or do you think they could have done it in a better way?
There's a lot to be done when it comes to the Sierra Leone market. It's not just about the
I'm not
event.
concerned about Sierra Leone market. I'm just
Mm.
talking about.
Well, I'm concerned about Salon market because that's why I find
I'm
myself
concerned.
here.
That's why I'm here.
Mm.
Come on. My
Ah.
point is that we have all of this big event. The
Mm-hmm.
lifespan for all of this big event is 2 3 years, and
It
then what's
depends.
event?
It depends on the brand that you build over time. Some people just want to
Are you
make
sure you want
money.
us to dive into that?
Yeah, please.
Please,
Some
should
people,
we dive into
some
this?
people, some,
Should we dive into this?
some people,
So
some
me,
people.
for me, let me tell
Mm,
you, I think I've done the biggest event so far.
mm-hmm.
You understand? I'm gonna take it back to when we first started Whiskey here. I was a stage manager, and there were a couple of things that could have been like riders, like technical setups, blah blah blah. But I don't think in our country, Sierra Leone, we care about all these technicalities.
Okay, so
And so wait. Oh God, calm down. Let me make my
okay.
point. Most people care about the numbers the events bring and not the lifespan of the event. I don't care to make profit on my first event or my second event. I want to create a name. Look at Afro Nation.
And I'm not
That
disputing. I'm
what?
not disputing.
Oga,
I'm not
Afro Nation is
disputing.
just another kabaka.
Well, it is.
Could be another food fest. Could be food fest does not have the capacity it needs to triumph. But if food fest
Mm.
have the kind of money they need, there will be always. I'm not. I don't know what one's food. Hi, this is oh my god, this is Emily. Oh my god, hi, it's nice meeting you. Sorry, sir, I'm sorry.
Ayin
So
Kale.
wait, well, I'm just trying to say. So Food Fest is one, Kabaka is one, Bangbado is one. But I'm just concerned. I've managed most of these events. But the question is that is it numbers or the lifespan of the brand? Sierra Leone is slowly going to a space or a point that when you call an international artist, this is who I am, I'm from this place, they'll be like, no, I don't want to go there.
You're right. You're right because of experiences that they've had in,
So
recently. It's not
yeah,
even in the past,
so yeah,
recently.
Gucci, I was in Nigeria. Gucci, when he came here, was like, yo, everybody was like, do you know actually Gucci went to Lungi with a taxi? I'm serious. No, no, no. Let's be real. She literally went to Lunga. She came in with convoy of. Am I supposed to say this? Please, guys. So my point is that other people, Ruga came in here, some same old shit. Is it that we don't do our part properly, or we
Mm.
just? My point is still that do we need to really focus on? Yeah, my event had 10,000, but can people really talk about the content of the event? Can we compete with other African countries? Can we say, yeah, we're from Sierra Leone?
We
You can,
can't.
you can,
The,
you
the
can
answer
put.
is for now we can't. And you're right. I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm actually in I'm actually on the same page with you in regards to that because for me events have to be about
Oh my,
experience.
don't read though.
That it read. You're right because when people, most of the people that send me messages when they want for the events, they're like, "Oh, Emily, I want to do events. I must for Radisson Blue." That's their first events that they're doing, mind you. They just want to rent Radisson or they want to rent a big space. They don't even know how they're going to do their marketing. They don't even have a budget for marketing yet. They don't even think marketing is going to be a big deal for them. They just think it's about them doing a flyer and posting on social media, and that's how you market. And then you have that your small community of people come through. Mm-mm. So there's marketing, there's advertising, and there are other things as well that come with that, the PR and all of that. So when people want to do events, the first thing in their mind is if I have 10,000 people come to my event, if I have 3,000 people come to my event, and the gate fee is 70 millions, I don't make money, oh. But then they forget that it will cost you to do your very first event. You're not even supposed to expect money from your first event. Probably up to your third or fourth event, or maybe even the fifth event, you're not even supposed to expect if you're building a brand. So, which was why previously I mentioned it depends. Are they in it for the money or are they in it for to build a brand? Because if you're in it to build a brand, then you're building to compete with
So the
other
question
other
comes about
countries.
let's not mention brands here right now. All of the brands that we know in Sierra Leone is popular, that feel they're doing Sierra Leone a favor. But I think the narrative needs to change that we're doing Sierra Leone a favor. Am I making sense?
No, you're actually
Because
right
every of the
because
brands says, yeah, I mean, they can't change the narrative. I mean, they can't just, no. Nigeria, we started being like, okay, one of the things we have to do is that the brand needs to change. The
mm.
culture needs to change. We
But
need to
then
let people know that we can do this. So now, I'm not saying we're not doing that,
mhm.
but consciously, all the events I've known, single-handedly, the leader be like, yeah, now what I want this. I don't care about Andy. Now what I want to do this. Now what I want to do. So Sierra Leone in the picture is not being considered. We don't care about Sierra Leone. We think we care about. We act like we care about Sierra Leone.
Mm.
So when we do things, we just want to do things that people would literally say, okay, yeah, now that man do that deal. Nobody will say it's some set of Sierra Leone that's make this change.
But so again, maybe it's just in my opinion or how I think. For me, when I do something, I don't want me to speak for myself. I'd rather my work speaks for me because that's how you know you're doing something. So um experience. When I talk about experience with events and finding a niche and building a brand, because for me, I feel that that is what we're supposed to be looking towards because you're not supposed to just do an event and you think you just focus on the numbers because when you're doing events, there's pre-events, there's on the day events, there's after the event experience that you create for people. And a lot of these determine how people will see your event in their mind, that brand image that you now present to your attendees and how they will take you. So, for example, if they say Madeng, people already know the type of event that Madeng is, the type of crowd they cater for. If you call Bamba Ode, they already know that type of crowd. You call Unifest and the likes. So, it's just a lot of events I feel should focus on creating a brand image and making sure that they communicate their clear niche with their attendees. The numbers are important, but also, they have some other technicalities to look into. Activism and social causes.
So what first,
Hmm.
let's take it down
Yeah,
for
let's break it
some
down a bit.
guy in Bosworth or in Belgium looking at this thing. What do you mean by activism and social causes? Something that you think is something that literally every Sierra Leone understands.
I don't know. Everyone has the perception about what activism is to them.
So what is activism?
Fighting for a cause that you believe is right could be my own definition, because it has to do with passion. But lately, a lot of activism has been built around someone trying to promote their own self-interest. There are lots of selfish people nowadays. You have to be really, smart to separate the two.
So
There's a lot of there's a lot of, intertwining when it comes to
corporations,
when it comes to activism and social causes.
like you guys say things, things in half and half, or
There's always a personal gain for someone. That's how humans are built. No matter how good your intentions are, it always comes down to something that you're personally in it for.
but in our time, how do you think that is working?
Hmm. I love the fact that people are bold enough to speak for what they believe in, and that has been changing a lot of,
So
that
I have a
perception.
question before we move ahead. A lot of people that have faith in what they believe in, but I don't think that sounds right because somebody you speak to that say, okay, yeah, when you guys brainstorm and say, I believe in that idea. By the time he leaves your front, you get me that money idea now nasty, now this, now dandy. Don't take it serious. So if you want, you understand what I'm trying to
I
say?
understand.
Because the whole thing is that could we be on the same page to do something massive and promote a bigger brand, or can we be intercontinental?
If everyone was to be on the same page, wars will not exist.
Say that again.
If everyone was to be on the same page, wars will not.
Literally, not like be on the same page. You bring something.
We're all different human beings with different beliefs, different backgrounds, different upbringing, different things that at some point in time built or shaped who we are. So because of that, some people can be gullible and some people cannot be gullible. It's just who humans are. I feel like Sierra Leoneans, we are very lazy to research about a lot of things that come before us. We just take it hook and
Would
sinker.
you? I don't want somebody to come and reach out for you after this. After this,
I know.
would you
I
rephrase
am
that?
included in that. I am a Sierra Leonean. Sometimes I'm also
So
lazy.
what's your definition of lazy?
When we see information, we just take it as that. For example, so post in Ongo Bangyanda. Social direct state WhatsApp
So let me
status.
ask you
This
a quick
post in
question.
Ongo
Let me ask
Bangyanda
you a quick
without
question.
without research.
Let me ask you a quick question. So if you're putting on a team, now there are two people I likely to consider in this picture.
Mhm.
Would you prefer working with a smart Sierra Leonean or a brilliant Sierra Leonean? Or are there brilliant Sierra Leonean? Are there smart Sierra Leonean? And if they are, which set is actually making waves or taking the country to the world map?
Hmm. There are lots of smart Sierra Leoneans and brilliant ones too.
Which would you prefer to work with?
I work in different capacities. So some of my work requires me to work with brilliant, and some require me to work with smart people. So, but I love to work with both.
Okay, I'll leave it to that. Okay, yeah, that's yours.
Activism has evolved. How did social and political activism manifest during your time, and do you see it as a precursor, ancestor to the activism and advocacy happening today?
For me, I think during our own time when we are growing up, activism then was more of the trying to fight for something in probably being bloody and being physical. Now, I think there's a lot of things that can change just by someone
Malcolm
making a
X, Martin
statement,
Luther
by
King.
comments and all that, like the life of Martin Luther King and a couple of other guys doing fighting for what is right for Africans and all that. So yeah, during our time, I think it's more social media based than someone actually coming out. I think this could be wrong. A statement can actually cause something change. Back then, it's more of physical stuff
And
going
radical, a lot of
radical.
radical activism back then.
So social media has actually given everyone to speak up their mind, even if you're not right. Somebody somewhere can actually still believe me. Yeah, that guy is making sense, even if you don't make sense.
And I think the mother of all of those platforms has been Twitter, because Twitter, I think, set precedent for modern day activism. You go on Twitter and you say something about a certain corporation, company, business, or whatever, or even a person. Next thing you know, people are tagging that person, and they will stop, patronizing if it's negative, and they will start dragging that person. Especially Nigerians, you all drag, you drag. But I'm just saying, before the social media age, it was a lot of radical activism.
A
There was
lot.
true passion, there was true passion. But now I feel like the activism now today has been mixed with a lot of things, because even what is not activism might be mistaken for advocacy and activism. People can now push their ideas and clone it under a cause, and they're trying to impose that on you. There are certain groups of people, that are trying to now impose certain thoughts, perceptions, ideas into the next person. But I feel like in the midst of activism and advocacy, what should remain is respect for other people's views and
So
perceptions.
quick one. This probably might be off the on topic. The word activism is just fighting for something the right
That is
or
what I think activism is or should be.
but in terms of changing the cause of the mindset of Sierra Leone and what we believe in terms of events, in terms of selling products, in terms of start up a company, instead of doing things right, do you think we could actually use that mood or platform or space to actually cheer for a greater things? Because I feel for me, I'm not trying to judge anybody. Now I call myself Saidu Kuruma, Adam Adenijo Olayinka, and I've spent a lot years here and fighting for something to change in terms of what we see, in terms of pictures and all that.
Mhm.
I just feel we can take the advantage of using activism to cause a lot of more changes in the media world, in the event, and how we see. There's a space for us out there that we're not claiming.
That's
There was a time, sorry, before I came to
mhm.
Sierra Leone, that's like 7 to 8 years ago. I was in my corner in Nigeria, in Lagos, in Nogba Aguda, Ikeja. I heard about some rapper in Sierra Leone. That was my first time of hearing about Sierra Leone. Then I got a letter to come and work in Sierra Leone as an expatriate. Then I take it to my brother. I was like, well, do you know where Sierra Leone is? He said, that place they are fighting.
Ooh,
So there's a lot of uh,
perceptions out
perception
there.
about Sierra Leone, and there's a lot of we need to put out as Sierra Leoneans, as content creators, as creatives, as a people, for
Mm.
people to believe in us that yeah, you can bring $1 billion to come and invest in Sierra Leone entertainment or invest in anything in Sierra Leone. I can yield profit. So I feel we should spend time. Nigeria, there was one thing we did at some point, and we ignored the government during Goodluck Jonathan's regime. Our entertainment was a little bit shitty.
Mm.
Then we ignore the government that whatever you want to do, go ahead and do it. We're going to put our money into it. People started investing in music. Things started changing. And the government thought they figured there should be a budget for the entertainment. And that's how we started.
Okay, so a few things. So yes, we are not leveraging our platforms, as much as we should. That we already agree on, to be honest. But there's not a lot of investment going on, even in the entertainment space. A lot of the events or whatever programs we put out comes from our personal pockets, and we're not thieves. Our finances, our resources are limited, so we can only work within the capacity that we can, and I understand Ghana was not a hub. Some years back, Ghana was not that hub. Dubai, it's an intentional act. Dubai is now a hub. when you talk about shopping,
So let me
you talk
stop you
about
right there,
events
right
and
quick. Let me
everything,
stop you
Dubai
right
is
there,
now
right quick.
hub.
1 second, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
You said we don't have that kind of capacity, but do you know Sierra Leoneans spend more money on drinking and women?
Again, it has to be an intentional act. And when I
No,
talk
no, no,
about
no, no.
no,
Don't wait.
no, I know that, but it's not intentional. An individual will not just come up and see the need for them to put their money
So that's
into
my
an event for something that would be of a bigger picture. They'd rather put it into something that would please them, that temporal pleasure. Because there's again the
so these are
perception
people.
about
These are
collaboration and
people. These are
partnerships
people that want to
is
do
another thing.
personal pleasure stuff, and that still goes out to like, yeah. So I know we don't get better artists. We don't get better this. Okay, I was in studio with a couple of other guys, and we're talking about this. It was me, Drizzy, Rampage, and a couple of other guys in Nigeria. So we're like, Salon, I don't sabi Salon. I was like, hey, let me go and streets now. Let me go ask. So we started asking questions. Not even two or three people knew where Sierra Leone was of freedom. Everybody that knew about Sierra Leone was always what's that they've been the fight war and. So my point is, I'm not saying everybody is okay, yeah, but my point is that there's always ways to change that thing. You are changing already. Caleb is changing and his team is changing. I am changing already. Sammy and all the guys are changing. Bang Bao there, they're trying to change. Every other person is trying to change.
Vicky is
But
trying to change.
Vicky is trying to change. So every one of us should try to change and make up our mind that no matter what the narrative is, it should be one thing. We need to be better. We don't have to go back. We don't have to spoil somebody to get something. We don't have to destroy somebody's image to get better. We don't have to mess some people up just to feel good. It has to be like a Sharon is has to be forced.
In other words, partnership,
Collaboration.
collaboration, the intentional act of making sure that in whatever we do, even if we're trying to make money, the end goal is to put Salon first and to put Sierra Leone on the map.
So far we are
You
years
know,
apart. I'm happy staying close to you. It's been a while. I've asked you to take me out on a drink date, on a food date. You've
you
never
can come to
done
drink
that.
first.
And this is the first lady I actually met when I came into Sierra Leone. It's my
Oh God.
first closest friend. I'm not going to discuss details, but anyways, I'm happy
Save
being
the
on this show. What do you
details.
think?
So for me, I believe that we'll get there. To be honest, I believe that we're getting there. We might not be very close, but I believe that we're getting there in the younger generation because we're doing great things, Yinka. We're daring to dream. We're putting our investment, our money into something that we believe in. Even if for the first time it doesn't work for some people, but they believe in some things and they're working towards it. Me, I tell people there's no small event, no matter how small, no matter how many people come out, just thank God because you've learned something from that. So I believe people are changing narratives. I believe people, young people, are daring to dream and they're working towards it. They're being intentional about
So
it.
for me, I'll close with why she says that there's no small event.
No.
From your thought process, the success of the event starts from your thought process. Whether you want 10,000 people, if you want 5,000 people, you can think it, you can create it, you can fix it, you can make it happen. One thing I'll say is that please, when you're working, make sure that every one of your team understands the goal and treat every person to be equal. Do not try to mess things up. And we love you. We'll always be here to support everyone.
Yeah.
Like we're here right now. And
Yeah.
after now, thank you. You're gonna buy me a drink.
No. So my last words will be events are about experience. Events are they're not about us. They're about the people that are coming and what type of experience do you want those people to get. Is it an event in the long run that you would want people to see from other countries and come to? Is it something you want to expand? So even from the very first get-go, you have to know what you want for your event. And that is what you should be intentional about. So even if not the last kobo you get, your branding should be very nice. It should be on point. If someone charges you, but you know their work is good, go for it. It is very intentional. Make sure everyone who's on your team, not just being paddy paddy and someone can do events. Make sure you have someone who's good in graphics if you want to save money. Make sure you have someone who's good with camera, or they have at least the connection to someone who knows these things, because that's the other thing that's pulling events down. Then they go get a paddy paddy. When they get a paddy paddy, man, not say they go get that because we all guilty. When they get a paddy paddy, and then you're able to talk to the next person now with something they go wrong. You can't accountability not there because they all think say now we all don't do this the first time and all of that. And for me, I tell my team we work on based on performance. So everybody has to put something in. one person or the canto to the team and show and the rest just the chill. You understand? So I believe that events can do a lot of things. I believe that we're getting there, and kudos to all the event organizers because y'all are changing narratives, and we're all proud of you. Kudos to me, Sef Sef, because you know it's easy, Sam.
Kudos to me, self, 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 self,
So
self,
you
self,
Sef
self,
Sef
self,
Sef.
self, self.
Kudos
And
to
to
me.
to
If
to
nobody not give me flower,
and
I'll not pass you.
and to those guys that are not seen by camera, those walking behind.
To everybody who's into events. When I say people doing events, I'm not talking about just event organizers. I'm talking about people who come through for events, the photographers who capture the moment, the videographers, Caleb, like, you know, videographers who capture the moments, the producers of the event where they make sure say people in way for Dede, you know, then Dede, you know, everybody, whether they write, even to the one where they find caption for whatever flyer they go out for, make sure say as person see caption so you know it gets that waiting self they it already don't see something but the event. So everybody matters. It's an experience and you have to enjoy that journey, you
So for
know.
me, I think we'll have to bring this up on a next, probably next, if we're allowed to come here. I like
Events for
us.
be dissected. It's not a
I like
general
us to
topic, to be
go
honest.
into entertainers versus event planners.
Oh.
So that will be something we'll probably go look into. Anything I know here, this will not be not to beg you, but thank you for watching, and go and hit the subscribe button. If you not do I'll have a way same voice for you. I swear to God.
Making Sierra Leone famous or putting Sierra Leone on the map, not everybody in business done this. So, you know, everybody gets a part for play. And this is how Years Apart is trying to do theirs. And I hope you enjoyed that episode. Click the subscribe button, wherever it is on the screen. And share as well. Share with people. And let's talk about the things. You don't have to agree with everything that we said. Challenge us, challenge the narrative, you know, put out your questions and we'll definitely find ways to respond. Let the conversation continue. You may not just stop now. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope we have more conversations on this. Years apart.